Good evening and welcome to the Defiance City Council meeting for tonight, May 26th, 2026. This evening we have Pastor Sam Andrews from King's Cross Church here to open us up in prayer. Thank you for being our guest this evening.
And thank you for serving our city. I sit through a lot of long meetings myself, and I'm very thankful for those who are doing it on my behalf as a citizen of Defiance. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we come before you in the name of Jesus Christ, and we bring our city, Defiance. We're thankful for where we live. We're thankful that you have placed us in this community that is so full of your love and blessing and kindness in so many ways. Lord, you have been kind to us, and help us to be grateful and to see all the ways in which your kindness is shown to our community. And Lord, one of your kindnesses is living in a city that has able stewards, as we have at this table, and we're thankful for the time and energy they put into caring for the streets and the finances and the leadership of our city. And we pray, God, that our city would thrive, that the churches would thrive, that the schools would thrive, that the businesses would thrive, the families would thrive, that this city, the city council would do whatever they can to help see our city flourish. We pray, God, that everything that's spoken in this meeting would be spoken with a true and earnest heart, that there would be harmony and unity, that there would be neighbor love, and Lord, that you give us, our city stewards, wisdom to know how to handle very difficult decisions and discussions. So we just pray, Lord, that you pour out your wisdom and that Jesus Christ would be glorified in and through our city. So we thank you for City Council, and we pray for your blessing on this meeting, your blessing in our community, bring more business and more blessing to our community. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for being our guest, and thank you for your ministry here in Defiance. This meeting is now called to order. Let the record show that all the members of council are present this evening, and would you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have read the index minutes for the City Council meeting of May 12th, 2026, in which Mr. Corbett filled in excellently for me. So thank you. But unless we have a motion to amend or correct the minutes as they're presented, I will endorse them. And do we have any liaison meeting requests or reports? We do have one liaison meeting this evening for streets and sidewalks.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. President, and we are happy to have the city engineer as the presenter, Ms. Sproul.
Ms. Sproul.
Okay. I know I was standing there first. All right, well, thank you for having me. This will be short, very informative, I hope, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. We'll just get started. So, go ahead, Lisa. As the City of Defiance's street network, you can see up here, we have approximately 96.3 centerline miles of streets. We actually have about 130 miles of streets inside the municipal corporation limits, but the remainder of that 34 miles is either private or shared responsibility, such as state highways. So, go ahead, Lisa. When we're thinking about our streets, what makes up our streets? What do we have to think of when we're maintaining them? What do we have to think of when we're costing them, when we're budgeting for them? Of course, you have the pavement itself, right? The surface and the base. Then we have to consider ADA access. We have to have ADA accessibility to and across and from our streets. We obviously have curbs that help direct the stormwater away from our streets. And sidewalks on some of our streets, obviously not all of them, but that's a concern for most of our streets. And then we have drive approaches for all the residences or businesses or industrial complexes that we have to consider when we're looking at our streets. when we talk about preserving or maintaining our streets, here's a list of some of the techniques that we use and some average costs that we're seeing to date. We have crack sealing, which is about $10,000 per mile. Microsurfacing, you can see all the numbers. We have mill and resurfacing, which includes a nominal amount of pavement repairs. Again, we have that ADA access component, where we have to have the curb ramps and the ADA access at the streets. Full depth reclamation, which would be what we did on Agnes, or most recently what we did on the Derbyshire area, where they grind the street up, level it out, and then put the new surface on it. It's about 2.2 million a mile, and then full reconstruction. Dig it up, put all new in, and pave on top of it. Go ahead, Lisa.
Melinda, where does most of the normal yearly project, where do they fall under that, in which category? Like the street surfacing we're doing this year?
Depends on the year. Each year is different. Our annual street resurfacing projects are just the mill and resurface with pavement repairs.
Okay.
And then obviously we have other areas in town that we target for different other techniques, right? Reconstruction, like we're doing on Ottawa this year. Reconstruction, like we're doing on Ralston this year. But predominantly, we're looking at resurfacing, milling and resurfacing. Go ahead, Lisa. For planning, for the budget, when our office is looking at what we need to do on a yearly basis, given an average or an industry standard of about 19.2 years for a paving life, given the fact that we have 96.3 miles inside the city that we're 100% responsible for, that equates to needing to plan or project out about 5 miles per year. For crack sealing, we typically look at 4 miles per year, and that's looking at streets that are 15 years or older. And that equates roughly, if we try to look at a number that we should see every year, that equates to about 1.25 million per year. That number fluctuates depending upon the streets that we're looking at doing on an annual basis. If they have a lot of pavement repairs, if there's a lot of curbs, if there's a lot of drive approaches, things like that. But that's what we're trying to target. So what have we done? We put the last 5 years up here. You can see the links of those years that have more length than others are when we've had some of our larger projects, say Derbyshire, West High Street, some of those larger projects. But if you look at the average of those 5 years, we're at about 2.9 miles in that 5-year period, which is close to the average that we've seen since 1960. So. And then where are we going? Well, this year, I think you're all aware that this year we're doing Hopkins from Douglas to Greenhouse, and we're also doing Walnut from High to Gray. That equates to about 1.1 miles. Jefferson's getting completed from the bridge at the Ogways River to 2nd Street. That's another 1.1 miles. And then we have shorter segments on Ralston and Ottawa. I should also say that this year we're looking at a portion of Sherwood Drive, starting the design on that. We used some of the budget money that you gave us in 2026 to start the design on that replacement. And then 2027 and beyond, Lisa, that's and I think you'll all have this presentation, right, Lisa?
Yeah.
So that hyperlink that's there at the bottom will take you to the website where the projected street projects are planned for the next 5 years. So look at it anytime. If you have questions, let us know. Are you going there?
Yeah, I won't do it. There it is.
There it is. So it's a lot to see on the TV screen, but we have several streets already planned out for 2027. I know that one that's not on this map that we are planning to hopefully get done in 2027 is Lane as a result of that water line project that we're also doing. So. With that, if you have any questions? questions? Comments, concerns?
Mr. Mast?
How do you target in on roads? What's the consideration? Do you just have a timeline and is that what you go off of? You just drive around, say these are bad? I mean, how do
Or what you
roads
just
get
said.
in your purview, I guess? How do they get there?
We look at the age of the streets. Every year, Dave will look at the age of the streets that we've got to deal with. We'll also go around and look at the condition of the streets that we've got in that one pot of age group, right? And then he'll decide which ones are the worst. And most of the time, the ones that are worst are the ones that we target. Now, there could be other factors why one got moved up on the list. Maybe we had a water line project that needs to get done, or a sanitary sewer replacement, or something like that, that would move one street up over another. But yes, we're looking at age and we're looking at condition.
Where do where the paving funds come from?
That comes from the capital budget.
Just out of the capital budget? We don't have a specific fund to save money
No.
for street resurfacing? So we just have to take it out of capital?
Mhm.
So that's why it gets difficult to decide if streets get paved or something else gets done.
Correct.
Mrs. Crutch?
Is it something we should really look at to have a separate fund just for the streets instead of having it just come from capital improvement? Can
If
we-
you're gonna create a separate fund, then you need to come up with a way to fund that fund. So are you gonna fund it from the general fund? Or my thought was with my ordinances I'm bringing to you tonight, to get some of those expenses out of capital and funded by the general fund, that could free up some dollars out of capital, was my thought. The other thing is, I looked at the last several years and we bring in about $2.3 million in capital revenue. I think historically John wanted to keep a nest egg of $500,000. I'm more of about $750,000 just because of the cost of things and things pop up throughout the year just to have another nest egg. We're about $800,000 in debt payments. We've got municipal court, we've got fire trucks, ambulances, police cruisers. We have got other significant expenses coming out of capital. So if we look at that and some of that can get paid off, it just frees up cash. There's only so much coming in, and how do we want to approach that? The revenue's not on pace to keep up with the expense like every other fund that we have, but my thought was to get special funds for police and fire, and maybe we can get those expenses and quit borrowing money and having debt payments and start paying cash for some of those heavy ticket items. You get couple debt payments out of there, you're freeing up $100. Going into the budget this year, we start that back in the fall. We had a lot of uncertainty of what Ralston and Ottawa were gonna look like and how much debt we would have with those. Well, Ralston turned out well, Ottawa's looking good too. So as we go into 27 and we look at the cash ending balance of 26 going into 27, maybe we go up, maybe we can take on a little more in some off years depending on what else. We've applied grant wise for some of these other special projects, but I was very nervous going into this year not knowing we had several grants that we were not gonna know until the end of December, and that budget's already approved. So I think, like Josh said, bringing it up now, and if you have a dollar amount in your head of really what you wanna see, and let us have that in our heads, and as we progress into the budget, it would be helpful for me to know what the expectation is. But this year was difficult, I felt like, just with Otta and Ralston. Those were two big projects that we did not know until December what all that grant funding was gonna look like. And some of it was into this year that we were awarded. So there'll be money left on the table, we'll just have to look at that into 2027.
And we're always looking for more grants. I mean, we're always trying
Yeah.
to
Right.
stretch the money as much as we can.
And there's not grants for these roads, correct? Would you
Some
say?
there are, I mean, we have two pieces of one piece of legislation tonight for some
Yeah.
roads that we're gonna apply for some funding for, but
Okay,
we're getting pretty sparse on
Yeah.
the grants that are available for the streets that we have left.
That was one of my other questions. I know we've got grants for Carpenter from Stadium out to Elliott, correct? And then grants, I think, for Power Dam.
Yeah,
You
those
just
are going
did
together.
Elliott Road under another grant, if I
That was
remember correctly.
OPWC funding.
So none of that can come to roads that we actually need to pay? Because
So-
those roads weren't that bad.
So all of
I mean,
the,
sure, they'll get bad in time, but
all of the funding pots of money that we have gone after have rules, right? So currently, there is no funding source that I'm aware of will pave our residential streets, like our local streets,
Mhm.
not our collector streets, not our arterial streets, but those that are really only in residential areas. They're not like through streets. So we've targeted as many of the streets that qualify for the programs that we can go after. And unfortunately now we're kind of left with the residential streets.
what specification do those streets fall under that qualify them for that grant?
They have to have certain, traffic count numbers, they can't be dead-end streets, they have to be, there's a whole criteria that those grant, and it's different for each pot of money. As
Right.
far as what traffic counts qualify, what don't, if they're classified as a local street, then they don't qualify, but just things like that,
So it's a heavier used street for more commercial
correct.
area.
Not necessarily commercial, but it has to be a heavier used street, more of a through street.
Good question. Do we have any other questions or comments for Ms. Brown?
Mr. President, I just,
Sure.
those are all good questions and good answers. I will say, there's 7 months left in this year, and I think what Kim talked about, possibly some healthier balances at the end of the year. We don't know what Mr. Murphy has in store for us, and what air conditioning unit might fail, or boiler might fail. And so what the 1st of June may seem like a good prediction, I'd rather, when we get to budget, maybe we'll have a better idea.
Well, I'd like to see going forward, the street paving not be relegated to the bottom of the budget to, what's left. I think if we need to move that to the forefront a little bit more, because obviously with the numbers you're showing, we are falling behind continually, and there are some streets that are main streets, like Holgate Avenue is pretty bad. I mean, I don't know where that is on your list, but
That's not even that old, it just was.
it's a main
wasn't done right or
thoroughfare
something.
into town, and it's pretty shaky, with especially a couple of the side streets off of there. I think it's West Third, or no, which is the street right behind off of between Holgate and is that Park Place?
Are you talking about
Side
Fifth Street?
Yeah, Fifth Street. It's in pretty bad shape too, but I mean, those are just little roads, but
Right.
they are traversed.
Mrs. Crutch?
So do we still have like a 5-year projection of different streets listed? I remember back in the,
That's this map.
I know, but it's always that little tiny map, and it's really hard for me to see those streets. I want you to know that I had that map, and I had to get a magnifying glass to look at it.
Jill, if you want us to print you out a large map, we can do that. Just let me know what you need.
Okay, because that's what I also.
Happy to print out maps if you
Yeah.
would all like a map in paper version, we can
Because
certainly
the
do that.
purple ones are the older streets, correct? The purple and the red?
This is projections, this is not street age. There's
Okay.
another map on our website. You can
That's
find
the
this
one I think I was looking at, is the age of the
Yes.
streets.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I was kind of looking forward to, that you know, how do we know which street we're going to attack first? And I understand that, you know, some get bumped and that's how it's been in the past. I remember in our budget, we used to have a list of streets, 6 or 7 streets that they were gonna work on, and then the next year, that budget, you know, those 3 streets that didn't get done got back on that budget, and we haven't had that written purposely in the budget like that. So,
This, you did minus 26. And
Okay.
that was because of Ottawa and Rolston
right,
and the
okay.
uncertainty of what
right, and
we
those
were
were
gonna
in
be
there.
left. But prior to that, I just
The
kept
list
what
was-
the list was always there.
Yeah,
I just, you know,
it just
put
kinda
that on
keeps
me.
going
I
up
was
year
very
after year.
nervous going into this year with not knowing what the funding was gonna look like on those 2
Gotcha.
massive projects.
Right.
But because of Melinda's hard work, we're sitting very, very well, and we'll have much needed improvements.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Melinda.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Melinda.
Do we have any comments from council? Mr. Waxler?
Yeah, I probably had 7 or 8 phone calls this week over electric bikes, and I've been watching. They're running it's ridiculous. We gotta get this under control. People were calling me from walking out of stores downtown, dog got hit, a gentleman did get hit, or rubbed him coming out of State Bank. And people out on 111 in South Clinton going out to get their mail, and they said these kids are just, and I've been watching, it's ridiculous. Now there's dirt bikes running around. They're electric.
Yeah.
But it's still a dirt bike, there's no light, there's nothing on it.
No pedals.
No pedals, no nothing. And we gotta get this under control. I don't know what it's gonna take, but it's out of hand.
So Chief Herbert and I actually met this morning to talk about the electric bikes, the dirt bikes, all of the things going on in the street. So he's working on some research and things like that, to come talk to council about. I told them that you may have some concerns tonight, so he should probably prepare himself that he might need to come in at some point to have a discussion with you all about enforcement and how those bikes are working throughout our city through the summer. So
I mean,
if
there's
you'd
gotta be
like
a way
him to
keep
come
them
have a
off the
discussion, I
sidewalk or
think he's
something.
open to doing that.
I mean, they're running ragged, it's terrible. And you can sit and watch them, and I'm not being mean, but I watched one go through down here at Downs and Clinton, and there was a patrolman sitting right there in that lot, the old gas station, Yance Place, where that is. And the kid went right through the light. Never even slowed down. Now, I don't know if he was running his radar that way or this way, whatever. They're out of control.
Thank you. Mr. Mast?
Yeah, Mr. Mack, I had a concern brought up to me today regarding, the future bridge closing on Jefferson beginning on July 1st for 120 days. The concern was that the safety services reaching the south end of Defiance, considering Jefferson will be closed, Ottawa Avenue's under construction. I don't think they can make that viaduct on Summit. And then, the railroad crossing at, Ottawa and Ravine and Squires has been blockaded quite a bit here in the last couple of weeks for long periods of time. So they just, yeah, by CSX.
So I worked with the police department and fire department going into this, knowing, we were gonna have these closures all around town, but I think there is an amended schedule just a little bit. Melinda, do you wanna
Yeah.
details on those, please?
So ODOT is actually not doing the slide repair portion on Jefferson this year. So all that they'll be doing is the deck overlay on the Jefferson Bridge and also the paving on Jefferson. That project is going to start after our contractor has Ottawa reopened to two-way traffic. So Ottawa will be open to two-way traffic before the Jefferson project closes. And the duration of the closure, they're telling me right now, is going to be 30 days.
Okay, well, that's good to hear because the other concern is, I think, when that Jefferson Bridge is closed, there will be an awful lot of traffic on Carnes Avenue.
So we did do a lot of planning and a lot of strategizing for what we would do, having all of those streets, closed to be worked on, and, you know, the repaving, the redeckings, all of the stuff that we're getting done. We did quite a bit of strategizing into it, and at kind of the 11th hour, ODOT spooked and said, this might not be a good idea, we're gonna push it and do the Jefferson Bridge a little later, so.
I assumed you had a plan, I just wanted to, I was asked just today.
We're always trying to plan.
Thank you.
Oh, Ms. Kaufman?
Yes, I had a resident or two from the Jadine Drive, Chelsea Drive, Briarheath neighborhoods ask me if I would express their appreciation to council and the administration for sponsoring 2 spay and neuter cat programs this year, because the feral cats in the neighborhood are not controlled yet, but they feel like they're making a dent to have 2 in 1 year. So they would like you to know how much they appreciated having 2 opportunities to trap cats. They were out there in full force.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett?
I know we brought this up before, but maybe to rehash, I'm getting complaints about solicitors again. Some of the elderly are nervous about them when they come to the door and would like to see them go away, but just restate what options they have to try to get that taken care of, as far as maybe calling the police, or are we sure that, and I doubt that we know that because they sneak around everywhere. All of them have to be registered and maybe get a permit. How do we follow up on that, other than they should ask that question if they're at the door? That's a fair question. And would they have a document that they should be able to produce, right?
They should, yes.
And then ask them to leave if they can.
I've had that exact same thing happen with people coming to my door soliciting, and I said, are you registered with the city? Well, I didn't know I needed to be. I said, you do, so come back after you're registered.
Yeah. It's hard for some people
I
to
know,
get
I
that
know.
old though, and there's a couple of them out my way are getting a little nervous about it because they're single widows and, you know, they don't like strange males banging on their door, so.
The document is called a peddler's and solicitor's license. If they have questions about that, they can come to my door and I'll give them a 20-minute explanation about that.
Okay, we'll send them, yeah. I just wanted to get that brought up again so people are aware of the options they have to try to help control that themselves, because obviously it's hard to watch them all, so.
I will say a no solicitation sign does not seem to be a remedy.
It doesn't matter to them, no.
And we have, so, you know, based on the weather we've had, obviously, there's a lot of new roofs coming to the city of Defiance. There's a lot of different things going on, and our building inspector has been out diligently, and our police department has kept an eye on it as well. Contractors coming in out of state, wandering around the communities. And so we've been making sure that if it's something we don't recognize, our people are stopping and saying, hey, are you registered? Are you licensed, you know, to do what you're offering, these services you're offering to do these people? Because even just because you have a peddler's license doesn't mean that you've registered with Miss Connie up front for all of your, you know, roofing or plumbing or any other service that you're claiming you're able to do. So.
Hopefully it'll settle down one of these days and we don't have any more tornadoes come through town.
Or hailstorms.
Mr. Hancock?
I just wanted to follow up with what Mr. Waxler had mentioned about bikes and electric vehicles. School will be out soon, so also be aware that there may be others out and about. So I think some parochial schools have ended today or last week, is that correct?
Friday.
So there's already some that have been released or school is ended, so thanks.
That's a good reminder, thank you. Do we have any other comments from council? On my desk, I know that Ms. Sprague sent out the payment of bills and financial reports for the month. It's always an interesting read, but I read it every month. But in the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of the bills and financial reports will stand approved. Any such corrections or objections? Then they are approved once again. Well done. Mayor McCann.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. Thank you for being here this evening. 2 things that I'd mentioned to council that housekeeping matters need to take place, although quite significant to us here at the city. First is reappointment of Ryan Mack as our city administrator. And I would ask for council's blessing on that.
Unless there's a motion to reverse and a second to reverse the determination of the mayor regarding the renewal of the appointment of Ryan Mack, then council concurs with the appointment. Hearing no motion, the reappointment can move forward. Congratulations, Mr. Mack.
Thanks, Mr. President.
And the other one is an opening on our Tuttle Museum Board. Hans Zipfel's been very active in the board. He's been also a big player in our Hall of Fame, which we just had a couple weeks ago. So I would talk to Hans about a position on the Tuttle, and he's quite enthused to accept that.
Regarding the mayor's appointment of Hans Zipfel to the Tuttle Board, shall the consent of council be given to the appointment? All those in favor of the appointment of Hans Zipfel to the Tuttle Board say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you, that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mack.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The only thing that I wanted to advise council of tonight was Joe Ewers, our water plant superintendent, has received word last week that he was approved for his level 4 license with the Ohio EPA. So
Wow.
good work to Joe. We are very proud of him. If you see him, give him a congratulations. It's a huge step for him. There's not a lot of level 4s in the state of Ohio. I think I told you that when we hired him. So it's very good news for the city and for him. So, very proud.
Did you nail him down on a long-term contract?
He has told me after we've stuck through all of this, I will be here, Ryan. And I said, I appreciate that, Joe. That's what we need.
Good.
John Leonard told me something.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
And that's all.
Mr. O'Donnell
I have nothing for you tonight, Mr. President.
and Ms. Sprague,
I don't either. For now.
for now. We'll get to that. But we do have several ordinances for consideration this evening. Would you read the caption for the first? No.
When to say it. First reading by caption only, ordinance directing the city administrator to submit a grant application for the North Clinton Street Railroad Bridge sidewalk replacement and declare an emergency.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The sidewalks on North Clinton Street that go over the railroad bridge are in visibly poor shape and in need of the total replacement. The engineer's estimate of probable cost for such a replacement is $396,771. The Maumee Valley Planning Organization administers the capital grant program, and that would help provide up to, or would provide up to 80% of that cost if the city is able to secure it, leaving a local match of $76,355. And all this ordinance does is fulfill the UDO and Ohio Department of Development requirement for council approval for this grant application.
Do we have any questions for Mr. O'Donnell in these regards?
No further question, motion to suspend and call.
Motion to suspend and call, Mr. Waxler. Second, Mr. Mast.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Corbett. Second, Mr. Engel.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Engel?
Yes.
With that, first ordinance is approved, adopted.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance directing the city administrator to submit a grant application for the Power Dam and Carpenter Road improvement projects and declare an emergency.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Mr. President, this ordinance is the same concept as the one before it. 80%, 20% match to resurface or reconstruct Power Dam Road between South Clinton Street and the city limits, and also Carpenter Road between Stadium Drive and Elliott Road. Engineer's estimate of probable cost was $406,750 for that combined project. And the grant would cover $325,400 if the Maumee Valley Planning Organization were to award it to the city.
And I'm assuming it's an emergency because of filing deadlines?
Yes, that due date is May 31st, 2026.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Do we have any questions or comments for Mr. O'Donnell? Mr. Hancock?
Yes, do you know a timeline on when these would be, completed, as far as the Carpenter Road and the Power Dam Road?
You know, we asked the city engineer if she could just stay for those first two ordinances for that very reason.
So if we're selected, the money actually comes through ODOT. If we're selected, then, once we have our kickoff meeting with ODOT, they'll help us select a year to do it. I don't think it will be in 2027. It may be, but more likely it would be in 28.
And if we do not receive the grant, will we set these projects on the table? Set them aside?
They'll be included in considerations for future years, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Mast?
No, it's motion to suspend and call.
Motion to suspend and call? Mr. Waxler?
Ms. Kaufman,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch,
Yes.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
and Mr. Hancock.
Yes.
Motion down.
Motion to adopt Mr. Engel, second Mr. Hancock?
Mrs. Crutch,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Corbett, Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
Yes.
and Ms. Kaufman.
Yes.
With that, this ordinance is also adopted.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing the creation of Parks and Riverfront Capital Improvement Number 407 Fund.
Ms. Sprague?
Thank you. For your consideration is to create a special fund for Parks and Riverfront capital projects. It would be Fund 407. The city's parks and riverfront require sustained capital investments to remain safe, functional, and attractive to residents and visitors. This approach also strengthens the city's position when pursuing local, state, and federal grants, as many funding agencies favor applicants to demonstrate local commitment through dedicated capital reserves. Keep in mind, this fund would become a part of the yearly budget for your review, as would the transfer amount. You can always approve that in January. Also note the change to the ordinance included language per the auditor's request. There's a 10-year limit, so if the longest you could leave those funds sit in that fund would be 10 years. I would not expect that we would do that. And there's also a maximum amount, which I just took the 30,000 times the 10 years and came up with the dollar amount. But that's the ORC caps on how much you can put in there and a time limit. Those were the two changes the auditor suggested that I make to those ordinances.
Mr. Hancock?
And this will be a created fund,
Mhm.
and we will be annually budgeting 30 to put into here, correct?
If you want to, yes. Yeah. It'll become part of it'll have a page in the budget book
Right.
right after the 403.
Where do we currently pull these funds from?
There's a
Capital?
transfer ordinance on out of general fund.
Okay.
Currently, any parks expense, capital comes out of the 403.
Mr. Waxler?
I think our parks are in pretty good shape. I really got a problem with this. I mean, this is what we was just talking about, prioritizing, and this is what we ought to have for our streets and stuff that we need. I think that this is, I'm not for putting $30,000 back for our parks when we already got how much money going into the parks. I mean, this is what we need to, this kind of stuff, we need to stop and focus on the stuff that makes our city better to travel and stuff, and safer, and river don't make our streets safer or better to travel, so I'm against this, just my opinion.
Ms. Crutch?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned too with the 30,000. I mean, I love the parks, riverfront plan, and I was a big part of that. I just feel like that right now, a lot of the constituents are really concerned more about our streets. You know, so when we talked about the streets coming in there, I'd like to see maybe only $10,000 go in there and 20,000 for a street improvement. You know, but I just think that we're kind of looking at something a little different.
I think in budget time, you make those recommendations then.
Yeah, but you wanna put it in there now. You want ordinance on it. Let's write ordinance for our streets. I mean, I'm just saying, that's the way I feel personally. I think that, you know, that's,
And Mr. Mast?
And to skip ahead, these are both the same thing, but I can understand the safety services fund because there's a building and there's mechanicals and there's issues that arise, and obviously we have one now that's gonna cost us a great deal of money. What are the parameters for expenditures on the parks? Are there
It would be capital improvements and it would have to come through council. I mean, to me, this was a long-term, create a nest egg for a long-term plan. If there's anything major improvement we wanna make to the riverfront or any of our parks are sitting, oh, did Melinda leave? She did. Our parks equipment is all sitting very well, but I think there is a drive from the community that is wanting to see something in our riverfront, and to me, it's taking money, the general fund, and just setting it aside year over year, and when the time is right, we look at what's in there, and it's set aside, earmarked for a large capital project.
is this in lieu of being able to ask for a parks or safety services levy? Current economic climate, is this a workaround for that?
No, I've talked to several other finance directors, and it just helps you spend with purpose. I mean, so we're not going into a budget year and saying, well, we'd like to put kayak launches in at wherever, and we need 400,000. Well, that's always hard to bite off when we need streets done. So to me, it's like, okay, at the end of the year, if we can start a nest egg of a couple 100,000 and 3-4 years from now, look at a decent sized project, I just look at it as budgeting for a purpose.
And to Kim's point, I mean, everything is more expensive. Like I when I first came to this job was shocked at how much playground equipment costs. And we have an ordinance on here, still yet to come for the CDBG money to help pay for a portion of what's left in Laddie's Grove. If you want to build out something that even like what we have there today, like if we rebuilt just what is there today, it's several $100,000. None of this stuff is inexpensive. And I think, as Kim said, part of it is if we set aside $20,000-$30,000 this year, next year, then when we have to replace something like that, we're not yanking $500,000 out of the capital fund, which you have expressed we want to see that going to paving instead. And so that was the process for it.
So this is getting 200,000 seed money, right?
What do you?
The Parks Fund.
What do you mean seed?
Seed money. We're transferring immediately 240 into it.
No, it would be, another ordinance I have is monthly transfer, so it would be added to the monthly 30,000 a month is what I had put on out of the general fund into the 407. It would go on the monthly transfer list, just like the other monthly transfers that you guys approve. We've got some going from water, sewer into the general fund. We transfer money out of the general fund to pension funds, so
it's 240.
my thought was to do this the rest of the year, see how the general fund pans out. Going into 27, I always put those transfers on in January, and if things get tight and Johns Manville closes its doors, then obviously we would stop doing the transfer. Fair enough. But I look at it as same with police and fire. You know, you go borrow money at 6% now. It's no longer 2%. You know, and so then you're borrowing at more than what you're earning in the bank. It's like, okay, if we can create another nest egg, a year or two from now, when we're up to get an ambulance and we can pay cash, that's how I was looking at it, is creating a nest egg for Parks and Riverfront out of the general fund, long-term. Same with police and fire.
It's been a long time, but council did do this a number of years ago. None of you guys. But when I was on the park board and the proposal to build the slide at Kingsbury was before council, they put money away for 3 years for that project, just Kim's talking about. And after 3 years, then the slide was built. And on a very cold day, Chuck's son went down the slide into the pool. I remember that because I was on the park board.
You had a similar, I mean, it was a similar transaction done with a splash pad. There was money transferred from Rob's budget into that 405 that covered the debt payment from the splash pad.
So with this, the other amending ordinance to appropriate for current expenses, it's got the 240, is that
I'm not
appropriating that 240 for this entire year?
The auditors wanted that language in there, that you can't put any more than that for this year. I couldn't just transfer another 250,000 from the general, it's transparency. They want you to be transparent about what you're pulling from the general fund and moving to special funds. So that's just saying you can't put any more than that in it, which I'm also asking you to approve the transfer ordinance saying we'll just do 30,000 a month for the rest of the year. That can be modified at any time. If you don't like that amount, or I usually come back in November and December and we start adjusting those to make the pension funds whole by the end of the year, it can be adjusted, that transfer ordinance. You just can't put any more in than you originally set the ordinance for that 10-year mark. Does that make sense?
Question, Mr. Engel?
Yeah, I'm for this. I think it's a good thing. Every time we turn around, that people are demolishing stuff, and it's gonna cost a lot more. I know out at Deal Park, people destroyed stuff, destroyed the restrooms, broke into them, and out on Kingsbury, and they did the same thing. We just ruined stuff. If we don't have the money, we're not gonna be able to do it. And I understand what you're saying, Bill, but I still think we need to put at least some money back in there to help out. Maybe not the 30, but we ought to be able to put something in there to help to do that. My opinion.
Question?
Yeah, I'm all for the safety one. When I got on council 15 years ago, I talked to you and I even talked to John about doing something. So like when we need to buy an aerial, we knew it was gonna be millions, but we had to look pretty damn smart. We'd had $400,000 or $500,000 set back, and we did it. But now we're gonna do it for a park. So I'm for the safety one, but I'm not for the park one. So.
Ms. Kaufman?
I'd just like to say that, yes, I think that given the setting of Defiance within the rivers, it's a natural resource that we should enhance as much as we can. And if you look at the cost of financially, the impact you could make on the parks and rivers compared to the cost per mile of paving the streets in the various ways that Mrs. Sproul presented to us, setting 30,000 a month for streets and paving isn't going to make a dent in several years, but it can make quite a significant difference in the lives of a lot of people in Defiance and those nearby who would tour and do recreation here, bringing money into the city, further developing it and enhancing the lives of the people who do live here and use the rivers. I'm not one of those people. I love it. If invited out on a boat, it's terrific. I've not been a kayaker and hauled a kayak down and seen personally how poor condition those are and how much we need the launches. But I think for the amount of money you can strategically put aside, then if the opportunity comes up for some significant replacement, you've got something there to keep it at a decent level where people can use it, and perhaps even enhance it further to really be an expansion for families with kids and people of all ages. I would like to see money set aside for streets and paving because it's been an ongoing problem as long as I've been a resident of Defiance and kept up reading the news. There's always, it makes sense to me if we could even designate a percentage of the budget at the end of every year or at the appropriate time, never nailing down a dollar amount, but a percentage that you can say, this is at least something we can give when we have an overflow, it goes to streets and paving. And every year that percentage amount would be different.
Thank you.
I agree
Mr.
with you, Stacy, too. I think that's a good points that you've made, you know, as far as the parks putting money aside. I have a little difference of that, you know, because I don't understand, you know, when we had Melinda here, not saying that we couldn't take money and put aside for the capital improvement, or, you know, take money for streets, you know, but now we can take money, capital improvement for the parks and riverfront.
Well, you're taking it, but you gotta say where you're taking it from. Like, it's coming from the general fund. So,
Okay.
so doing that keeps these out of the capital. So keeping them out of the
get
capital,
you.
historically, when I look back, John looked like he spent about $500,000 roughly, give or take, with other projects and other things listed on streets. We pretty much have done that since I've been here, minus 26 when I was panicked over Ottawa and Ralston, not knowing if we were gonna have to shell out $1 million for those two projects. That's really since I've been here, I have not really messed with any of what John had historically done. Now, to what Melinda's saying, the cost of everything has went up, yes, but by keeping an ambulance payment of $60,000 a year out of capital, if we can swing it in the general fund, and we look at general fund budgets going into 27, that's just gonna free up money in your regular 403. That's my point is, yes, we need money earmarked for streets. We totally do. We need it for sidewalks. We need it for multiple things that DJ and her work on. But keeping those big expenditures out of the capital budget will free up a couple $100,000, especially when you get rid of that payment.
I understand now between the general.
Yeah, you can't,
Thank you.
I mean, I don't understand why you would transfer money out of capital into another capital.
Gotcha.
I think if you wanna spend $750,000, $800,000 a year on streets, then let us know and then we'll start working backwards. But honestly, the only year, and it's because of me, I was very concerned about Ottawa and Ralston. And if we would have to front a lot of cash out, not knowing what our debt payment would look like. I mean, we just a couple months ago heard about a grant on Ralston and that budget's been approved since November, December. You know, I guess I feel like we need to recognize that and then have, you know, if we have an off year knowing, okay, in 27, we can probably take on a little bit more if she's not went after a ton of grants with some really large projects. You know, not knowing what those are gonna look like. That's just
Thank you.
my thought process.
That makes more sense to me with the riverfront and the capital. I mean, that plan, saving that money, just having it there. Let's say that in 4 years, 5 years, we need that money, we could always come back and.
Well, something horrible happened, you can always come back and transfer it back in the general fund. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
if something catastrophic happened, but I think in planning for these two funds also allows you then to use the 403 to plan for the streets and sidewalks and, you know, those other important capital.
Would this be something that they would take a look at the parks and the riverfront plan and actually maybe in 3 years say, gee, we have this money, we would be able to do something with money for Gateway Park or the.
I think you should. I mean, that was the whole purpose of having that done. I think it allows Melinda and Nikki to use special funds and applying for grants, which they always do. It allows you to get out to the community, to get community partners to say, okay, we're setting this aside. Here's what we want. Here's what we're going after.
If we have that money too, would that help us with grants? I mean, that we could match,
Yep.
matching funds, that would help with that area too?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett?
I'll stop now because she asked all the questions, so.
Oh. Further question?
Just last question, I need it, well, it's not even a question, just, no matter what you call it or where we still have the same pile of money. Whether it's in the capital, general, or in a parks fund, or in a fire fund, right, it's all still the same money, there's not, so you're taking.
Well, there's
money-
not, there's, I mean, you see a slight uptick in income tax. Our expenses are up, but I think it's money that we're gonna look at spending anyways. Why not get it set aside a little bit at a time? If you know down the road in the next several years, you're gonna wanna do something. I mean, I think I get what you're saying, or,
There's only so much money to go around.
you know, you're exactly right,
Throw it in
but
the
I
parks
think,
fund, it's out of
you know, I think when
general
you
fund.
look at the general fund, there's things, when we do that budget, we can go through and look at those and getting some of that stuff back to help fund these things and leave that capital fund more for the streets, sidewalks, and
Just seems like we're pigeonholing funds for a specific project, for a.
well,
versus-
you are, because you're
With the parks.
your plan, to me, it's a plan. I mean,
And like I said, the safety services one makes a lot more sense, because you have a brick and mortar building, you have mechanicals, you have equipment,
Yeah.
vehicles, that those guys need and rely on. So that does make more sense to be prepared for those kind of expenditures that won't necessarily affect their yearly budget then. I guess my point of view. Another thing I'd just like to say is I wouldn't mind, I don't see any urgency to this ordinance if we give this a week to marinate and maybe get some feedback. Would be
I agree,
only other-
because,
Okay,
You know,
sorry, Mr. Corbett?
oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just know that we just spent a large amount of money on a Parks and Riverfront master plan. That at the time, the question was, are we actually gonna do anything with it, or is it just gonna shelf back here? This at least shows a commitment that we're willing to move forward with what we put on paper. I also believe that it will help with grant funding, because we show a commitment to the people that give those funds away, that we're serious about trying to get this done, so. And you're telling me that if, for whatever disaster happens, if we have to transfer it back out of that fund, we can do that. I don't see any reason not to do this, and it'd be the same theory on our police and fire. I mean, it's just a good way to be financially prudent with your money. I will agree that a week would be fine, just to give people more time to think about it and comment on it, but, you know, if we're gonna commit to what we put on paper, we need to start that process. A tax levy right now is probably not gonna fly, we know that. And, this is just the way to get it started, we gotta start somewhere.
Thank you.
You know,
Mr.
I keep hearing, this is what people want, this is what people want, everybody wants. If they want that bad, then let's really see how they want it, and put a levy out there. See how much they really want it. Put a parks levy out there.
I think this would be poor time.
Well,
I
this is
agree
poor
with what
timing.
Mr. Corbett just said. Again, Mr. Waxman, let me make a couple points, and Kim's already made those. I think council's absorbed those thoughts, but I just want to stress a couple points that she made. We transfer the money in. If there's some crisis that occurs at some point in the future, even if it were Mr. Masted down at the Safety Services Building, the money could be transferred back out, and that project could be financially taken care of. The other point Kim made that I think is critical, and you were making that point, Mr. Corbett, is that having money in this fund, when we go to apply for grants, we can show that we have a dedicated fund with funds in it that would act as a match for that grant if that grant would require a match. But that's two of the points that have made that are critical. Everything that's been said around this table, I agree with for the most part. I don't agree putting a levy on the ballot.
Exactly, but I'm just
I
saying,
think that would be
we've
horrible.
been talking about parks forever, and everybody keeps saying, oh, everybody wants it. Well, let's see how bad they really want it.
I thought last week, very enthusiastic meeting over in Sherwood with the Defiance Area Foundation. Mrs. Crutch was there. And certainly the 50, 60 people that were in attendance were very enthused about the Parks and Riverfronts Master Plan and moving forward with that.
That's 50 people. So, I get it, whatever.
Well, to your point though, the Defiance Area Foundation is going through this process to sell shares, is that what they're doing? For a project that's gonna be named later, but they know that to get something big done here, they need to start somewhere and start setting aside money for it, so. You know, that Parks and Riverfront master plan has a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of dollars involved with it, and it's probably not all gonna be completed in my lifetime, but we have to start somewhere.
And Mr. Engel?
Yeah, if there's no other questions or comments, I'd make a motion to suspend and call.
Right. Do we have any further questions or comments before we retain the motion to suspend and call? All right. If not, we have a motion to suspend and call. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second, Ms. Kaufman.
This is just for the parks, this isn't for both, right?
Correct.
I mean, they're not together.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
No.
Mr. Waxler,
No,
and Mrs. Crutch.
Yes.
It fails.
We don't have the votes here to suspend and call the rules. And vote on them. Mr. Mast,
Motion to let this matter lie for
we have
a
a
week.
motion to let lie. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
yes.
and Mrs. Crutch.
Yes.
All right, we will let this issue lie until we reconvene next week.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing the creation of the Police and Fire Capital Improvement number 406 fund.
Ms. Sprague.
Yes, so this would be your consideration to create 406 fund for police and fire capital improvements. And the purpose of this fund is to avoid crisis in spending, proactive discipline investment, protecting both the city's finances and the services Defiance residents rely on every day.
Just one note on both of these, I forgot to mention, there is a Scribner's error in the second to last. You misquoted the ORC section,
Okay,
5105. Should be 5705.
Good catch.
I read it once more.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Sprague in regards to this? Mr. Waxler?
Is there anything that says this is what this is, we have to use it for, or can't?
capital improvements.
So, I mean, like, can we,
Generally, that's anything generally over 25,000, has longevity of 6+ years. Cars, ambulances,
so you
fire
can
trucks.
apply it to one of the vehicles if need be?
Yep, improvements to the building. And any of that would come through council, you know, any expenditure of that volume is gonna come through you.
I just didn't know what the limitations were,
Yeah.
what was limited.
Yep.
Thank you.
What's the monthly amount?
50.
50? Okay. And would that include apparatus as a capital improvement? Thank you.
Right, do we have any other questions for Ms. Sprague in these regards? All right, then what are council wishes? Mr. Hancock?
No further discussion, motion to suspend and call.
Second.
Motion to suspend and call, and second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Right.
Motion adopted.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Engel, second, Ms. Kaufman.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
With that, this ordinance is adopted.
First reading by caption only. An ordinance amending ordinance number 8702 passed December 9th, 2025 to make appropriation for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Defiance, Ohio during the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague.
I think you're gonna need this one live because it has the 407 fund appropriation on there.
Yep.
And I won't appropriate those funds. We don't approve the fund.
That makes good
Does that make
sense.
sense? Okay.
Mr. Hancock?
And one question with this ordinance is the 792, would you mind explaining what the
The
792?
792 is the Fire and Rescue Trust Fund. So the fire department had donations to purchase a UTV. And I did not have that purchase budgeted at the beginning of the year because they did not know they were gonna bring in that much money, and they did. So that's what that's for, but, so that's why I had it on there to approve all that together.
I just seen capital and I seen trust and I was like, wait a minute here.
Well, 792 is separate,
Yes,
it's a trust fund.
thank you.
And so, is there a motion to let this issue lie?
Motion to let lie.
Ms. Crutch, motion to let lie?
Second.
Second, Mr. Mass. All in favor of letting this issue lie, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we will also pick this up next time we convene.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing monthly transfer of funds for the city of Defiance, Ohio for the year ending December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague.
You'll also wanna let that lie because it has the 407 transfer on there. And if that's not approved, then that will get removed.
Okay. Do we have any questions for such a motion?
Motion to let lie.
Motion to let lie, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of letting this issue as well lie until we can reconvene next time, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we will also let this issue lie.
First reading by caption only, a resolution to authorize and direct the administrator to submit application for allocation grant program community development block grant allocation grant program year 2026 to Ohio Department of Development.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The representative from the Maumee Valley Planning Organization was here a few meetings ago explaining the two CDBG programs for this program year, 2026. And one of the things she explained was how the city of Defiance is a non-entitlement community. The entitlement communities being the ones that are 500,000 people or more. So under those guidelines, for the Community Development Block Grant, it's actually the state of Ohio that allocates the share that it receives from the federal government to those smaller communities like Defiance. 2026 is the City of Defiance's allocation year. Means we get the funding for that automatically, and we can Mr. Mast, we can use those funds for things like infrastructure improvements. You were asking about that earlier. I think that part of this might be, the idea might be to use some of the playground improvements at this park. But the Ohio Department of Development does require a resolution from council in order for the city to qualify for this funding.
Do we have any questions for Mr. O'Donnell in these regards?
No further, most spending.
Motion to suspend and call Mr. Waxler. Second, Mr. Mast.
Mr. Ingo?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Ms. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Ingo?
Yes.
With that, this ordinance is also adopted.
First reading by caption only, a resolution to authorize and direct the city administrator to submit application for the Community Development Block Grant CDBG Residential Public Infrastructure Grant Program year 2026 to the Ohio Department of Development.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the other program that Mrs. Blair talked about. Another program for non-entitlement communities like the City of Defiance. And when it started, when this fund started, it was primarily for water and your sanitary sewer projects for low to moderate income residential areas. Large swaths of Defiance qualify for that just because of it's based on based on income. But it also requires a resolution from City Council to qualify for this grant.
Do we have any questions for Mr. O'Donnell in these regards? Mr. Waxler?
No further question, most spending call.
We have a motion to suspend and call.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hancock.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Ingo? And Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mrs. Crutch.
Second.
Second, Ms. Kaufman.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Ingo?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
All right. With that, this resolution is also adopted. With the items of legislation addressed for this evening, do we have any citizens' concerns or with questions for council? There we go. Come up and state your name.
Yes, my name is Barb Neese. I live at 1501 Mail Drive. I would like to applaud the city, at the end of February, I told City Council on the matter of a data center potential coming of a data center and how it would affect this. And I lately read that, the City Council is trying to be proactive and discuss ways, I don't know if I'm talking out of term, ways to facilitate something like this. We're gonna have it to facilitate health, safety, and environmental concerns that citizens would have. My next concern here is we have, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with what Vanward has just put on a hyper data center they are getting, which involves 1,400 acres. That is probably one of the biggest projects coming to Ohio, and there is serious ramifications of projects that large. As we know, Bowling Green also has hyperscale data centers. Once again, I'm hearing rumors of a data center located by Elliott Road. I don't know where this is going. However, there's enough land that I'm hearing about that a hyper data center could move that location. We currently have, my question to City Council is this: Tiffin, Finley, Maumee, and Waterville currently put forward with their city council moratorium on data centers. Can Defiance City Council do that? A moratorium to study the effects of data centers.
Okay, so your question is it within the purview of council to have a moratorium
Exactly.
on data centers? Is that such a thing?
I know that it's going on around the state. I couldn't, theoretically, yes, hypothetically, yes, they could. I would need some time to look into how that might even work, the pros and cons, how you would go about doing that in our particular code.
Yeah, 'cause with our particular code, a particular charter, and it would be and these other places that you have heard of, the moratorium has been imposed for research into health and safety, or?
Health, safety, land use, agricultural use, air quality, noise ordinance, that our state does not, have locked down those types of areas, and when municipalities have to negotiate these contracts, there are no, bills in place to protect them, so you're kinda out on your own. However, the Ohio General Assembly is actively considering multiple bills to regulate the rapid expansion of data centers in the state of Ohio. Their primary target is grid reliability, utility cost, environmental impact, and local control. House Bill 646 has just passed in the state of Ohio. This legislature from the state of Ohio puts up a commission to study and investigate the impacts of data centers on agricultural land, infrastructure, and energy grid. House Bill 706, it will long-term agreements on data center customers and prevent utilities from shifting infrastructure and grid update costs to everyday repairs. However, if for some reason Defiance would get into a contract or sign any kind of agreement with a data center, these bills would not protect us. And these bills are being pushed right now by Republicans and Democrats who represent us. And it would be, in my mind, a huge mistake to get locked into a contract with these big corporations and not have these protections in place. And that's why I'm asking if a moratorium would not be prudent because of transparency and because these bills are being pushed forward to protect us.
Okay.
I have a sheet, if I may, and
Oh,
city
sure.
council can study this, of legislation that is being considered by our state.
All right, well, thank you very much.
And once again, I do applaud you. I mean, these centers are, they're moving very quickly.
Okay, well,
And-
thank you for being our
and-
guest this evening, your time is just about up.
Okay,
But-
thank you.
That is something definitely that Mr. O'Donnell has heard, and I can make sure you get a copy of this.
I kind of wish, I'm sure you guys are keeping up what's happening at state level.
But thank you for being our
Everyone
guest.
should actually be looking at those because they do safeguard
Yes.
our communities.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you for your time.
Were there any other citizens' concerns?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, come on. And just speak, say
Yes,
your
my
name.
name is Drake Ember, and I just have a very simple question, and that's just whether or not there is a data center project currently being considered or under development within the city.
No.
No? All right, well, that's it. That's all I have. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for being our guest. Were there any other questions or citizens' concerns? All right, without any, do we have a motion to adjourn for this evening? So moved. Mr. Corbett, second. Mr. Hancock. All those in favor of adjourning for this evening, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned until next week.